How's everybody doing tonight? I was experiencing some technical difficulties. Trying to get all the little technical difficulties worked out right now. But I'm going to jump right into everything tonight. You know, tonight my topic is preachers in the hood, politicians, and ghetto vampires. Basically, I'm going to talk about many of the things that essentially suck the life out of the poor black communities. Now, I got to clarify something. You know, it's not just poor black folks in our communities anymore. There's also a lot of poor white folks that are subjected to the same things that we're subjected to now. The difference is, to a lot of the poor white folks, this is kind of something new to them. To black folks, this is what we have been going through for eons and eons. So I'm going to kind of jump right into the topic tonight, and I'm going to start off just by talking about some of the preachers in the hood. Now, I know a lot of people will defend their pastors. They will defend their religious beliefs, essentially to the death. You know, but sometimes we all have to take a step back and look at reality. You know, so many, not all, but many of the preachers in the hood, they are experiencing heaven right here on earth, while many of their followers are encouraged to die before they get to enjoy their heaven. You know, I made a comment on Facebook a few months ago, and I got all kinds of flack about it. But I made a comment in reference to Pastor Vernon. And what I asked was, if you take in $100,000 from the community, and out of that $100,000, you take $10,000 of it, go buy school supplies, backpacks, turkeys that you pass out on Thanksgiving or whatever, who is really benefiting? You know, I look at some of the preachers, well, specifically Pastor Vernon. He was able to have his child on MTV Sweet 16. You know, his bank account is, you know, ridiculous. But how many of his followers are able to match what he has? I think that that should be a standard that we use when we look at any preacher in the hood. You know, how is it that the preacher is doing spectacular when his followers are starving? You know, I look at a lot of the preachers in the hood who had their pick of the women of their congregation. They drive the most expensive car. The church is donating 3 to 4 offerings per Sunday specifically for the preacher. But members of his congregation are literally starving. You know, also, politicians employ the same tactics. Politicians come around us during election times. They sweet talk us. Vote for me, I'll do this for you. Give me some money for my campaign. And we do it. You know, we as, meaning us as black people, black folks, poor white folks also. But we give the politicians what they want. And as soon as they are elected, they totally forget us. They don't do anything that they promised they were going to do. Also, we have the Arabs in our neighborhoods that suck the life out of us financially. We have all types of predatory lending institutions that prey upon us, knowing that a lot of us are in a position where it's hard to make ends meet. We go apply for a loan and we get charged a ridiculous interest rate. We have so many things in poor communities that take advantage of the poor. Why is that? Why is it that right now, especially all throughout the poorest neighborhoods in the city, you have these people running around passing out these free telephones? What are we saying that's so important that the government wants to listen in on? Why are they not out in the suburbs passing out these free phones? Why are predatory lenders not out in the suburbs charging people ridiculous interest rates? Why aren't the Arabs out in the suburbs with a store on every corner trying to suck the life out of the suburban communities? And that is because they won't allow it. Now, one thing I can say, the preachers are everywhere. The preachers are in the suburbs. Preachers are in poor communities. The preachers are getting in where they fit in. What I don't understand is why we are content to be poor. Now, what I'm specifically talking about is black folks as a whole are poor. In comparison, in the grand scheme of life, you have your haves, you have your have-nots. But for the most part, most black folks fit into the have-not category. Why are we content with this? Why do we continue to always think like consumers instead of retailers? Why is it that as soon as we get even the smallest amounts of money, we have to rush and turn that money over to the Arabs, to the preacher, to the politicians? Also, just to keep it fair, all the way around the board and talk about all the predators, we have the dope men in our communities who are also sucking the life out of our communities. We also have pimps, all different types of people. Now, let me clarify something, because I was no angel out in the streets, and at one time I was considered a predator because my actions kept people asleep and I exploited them. Now that I have seen the error of my ways and I'm trying to wake my people up, I get opposition from a lot of different people that I never thought I would get opposition from. However, every day I'm waking up somebody new. A lot of the youngsters listen to me talk and they really understand where I'm coming from. Especially when we are dealing with the youngsters, this is a new age. This is a totally different generation than the generation before us and our generation. For example, kind of to get off the subject a little bit, today is actually the 50th anniversary of the March on Washington, which was led by Dr. Martin Luther King. Now, I was downtown tonight, and they had a rally to celebrate that event. Not to be disrespectful towards Dr. King, but what did marching and singing old Negro spirituals really get us? We are in the same position now that we were back then. Actually, we're in a worse position now because we are brainwashed to believe that we aren't in that position at all. I personally am not the march, sing old Negro spirituals type of guy. I don't advocate that at all. You know, how could a real man, a real black man, just stand there and getting beat, getting dog sicked on them, and even just want to turn the other cheek? I'm not the turn the other cheek type of guy. You know, I would never teach that to the youth. I would never teach that to my own kids. You know, the reality in life is we have to wake up. Actions speak much louder than words. Now, I'm not saying we should have went out and just went on a killing spree. You know, however, just standing there and allowing ourselves to be abused physically, minus any physical retaliation, to me personally, is just asinine. That's just not even realistic at all. Now, there are other ways that we could have fought back. Economics rule the world, but we have to wake up and stop allowing ourselves to be economic slaves. And what I mean by that is, for some reason, black folks are the most forgiving, want to pat on the head from massa type of people on the planet. I personally believe in putting massa in the unemployment line. You know, and speaking on massa, massa can be a politician. You know, in the black community, especially in the black community, a lot of massas are really the preachers in our hood. The preachers are the ones who come through here on Sundays, take 5 or 6 offerings, pluck the finest women out of the community, the finest women out of their congregation, and disappear back up in the suburbs. How many preachers that have churches in the hood actually live in the hood? How many Arabs who own corner stores in our communities actually live in our communities? How many politicians that come down here soliciting our votes actually live where they come to solicit the votes from? You know, so we have to start waking up. We have to remove ourselves from the docileness. We have to stop allowing others to leech off of us. If we don't stop this, we are actually doomed as a people. I look at all the liquor establishments, I look at the clothing industry, I look at all the things that we just willingly submit to financially. You know, and it really should not be like that. If we had our own everything, we could potentially cripple we could cripple the economy in the world. I think that if we would wake up and just say we are tired of being used, we are tired of being raped financially, then we can make a hell of a difference in our own lives. We have to start being accountable for ourselves. I personally believe that actions speak much louder than words. I can sit on here and talk everybody to death, but I believe that my actions will speak louder than anything I can say, online. So, what I am proposing is that we stop allowing the predatory lenders to come in our neighborhoods, charge us 17-20% interest on payday loans. I would suggest that we stop going and just willingly turning over money to preachers in the hood without holding them accountable. How is it that our neighborhoods can be in the condition that they're in, and it's a church and a liquor store and an Arab store virtually on every corner? If every single church that's on a corner took responsibility for that particular street, that will make a tremendous change. The churches are not practicing what they preaching. More people are entitled to having heaven on earth other than the preacher. I think that is one of the things that separates generations. The generation before me was content to go to church, believe any and everything that the preacher said, pay tithes every single Sunday, never question where the money was going, watch the preacher drive around in a big fancy car, secretly impregnate half the women in his congregation, never say nothing about it. But this generation now is not going for that. With this generation now, realness and the truth triumphs. So the preachers really need to get out here in the community and practice the things that they're saying on the pulpit. Coming down in the hood, preaching a sermon, collecting money, and then going back out to the suburbs is not doing anything for our neighborhoods. It's not doing anything at all for our neighborhoods. And that is one of the reasons why our youth are not respecting the churches anymore. Not only should the pastors and the church members come out here and be more active in the community, also people like myself. I'm out here essentially practicing what I preach. I believe that because of the things that I've gone through in life, I'm able to connect with the kids who are out here in the streets, really living a life that they don't want to live, but they feel like they are forced to live because they may have felonies and feel like they can't get a job. They may feel like they have nobody to turn to talk to. They feel like, robbing, stealing, and killing is their only means of survival. But I'm here to tell our youth that it's a much better way than that. When I'm out here talking to the kids, I don't know how many of them have my phone number. They can call me at any time, day, night. They can talk to me about anything. If they get in anything, they can call me. I do anything I can to help them. But I cannot do everything by myself. I'm calling on men in our communities to come out, step up, show our youth a better example. I'm calling on the men in our communities to come out and show our youth that it is not all about the fake things in life that they see. That it is all about reality as far as men stepping up and being men. A lot of things that we look at as being fake, we tend to ignore, brush off, just not pay no attention to. For example, the way some of our youth perceive some of the older people in our community, like let's say the preachers, the politicians, they perceive them as being fake, and there's no respect factor and none of that. But we have to call on the preachers, the politicians, to clean up their act, to actually practice what they preach, to get out here and really make a difference, to stop lining their pockets, to get out here and actually do something for our communities. I'm not perfect by any means. I'm a man. I make mistakes. I made plenty of mistakes, but I learn from all my mistakes. Our youth have to see that a difference can be made out here. Politicians, preachers, we need to get politicians and preachers on a real page. And when I say a real page, I need them to come down and do real things in our community. Stop taking all of the money and lining their pockets, but take that money and actually do something in our communities. It's no way, this is 2013, it's no way we should have hungry children in our neighborhoods. It's no way that we should have families totally dependent upon the Red Cross truck when it comes through the city. It is no way that should be happening in this day and age. I think that everybody must now be held accountable. Myself, politicians, preachers, everybody. We must start being accountable for everything. I think that I hold myself accountable. Like I said, I've done a lot of things in the streets that I'm known for that I'm not proud of, but I try to make a difference now. You know what I'm saying? Anybody who knows me, they know I'm out here every day. I'm talking to the kids. I'm trying to tell the kids to do the right thing. I'm trying to put things together where they are able to understand that there's no such thing as a successful black drug dealer. There's no such thing as that. I'm trying to put things together now that will enable them to have jobs, that will enable them to be productive and take pride in the things that they are doing in the community. I think that the number one goal, and I know I talk a lot of stuff on here about the politicians and the preachers, and realistically I don't like many of the things that they do. But I think that everyone must come together for the common goal, which is to make our communities better, to teach our youth to do better than what we did. So I'm going to try to put some stuff together where we have more preachers coming out. Just say, for example, a lot of people may not be familiar with our efforts to clean up one block at a time in our communities. We've been out several weeks cleaning up, one city block, trying to make the area safer for women and children. But we have not been out there and had any of the preachers come and offer us any assistance. We have not had any of the oh, wait a minute, let me back up. I must clarify something on the show, because there was a politician that came out last week, and this particular politician did not come to the cleanup effort. This particular politician caught some of our youngsters in the store and took pictures with them and made it seem like she was part of our efforts to clean up, and she really was not. And I did not like the fact that she took a picture with some of the youngsters that come out and help us clean up one block at a time, and use that as some type of political leverage for herself. I did not like that, and I'll speak more about that next week. I did not like that at all. But I want to I know more and more people are watching this show every week. I'm seeing that. But I want to reach out to a lot of the preachers in our neighborhoods, some of the preachers that actually have churches on the blocks that we have cleaned up. I want to reach out to all of them. I want to reach out to the men in our communities to start coming out, making a difference, helping us clean, making our communities safer for women, children, and the elderly. I'm calling out everybody. I'm calling out men. I'm calling out the preachers. And I'm calling out everybody to, hold on one second. What's up? Yeah, I'm on the air. What's up? How you doing? We got my man Humble Power calling in. What's going on?
Oh, what's up, my brother? I'm just calling in to shout out to your support, man, and they're gonna mention that about these preachers need to come out and support us every Sunday. They out talking about these preachers. We come in and we go in any church any Sunday and see them preaching and false teaching the people. And I would just like to confirm that some of them need to come out and support us on our everyday effort.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna definitely.
I would also like to shout out to Brother Mike Snelly. He do be out there every week representing him there and helping out as much as he can.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm get ready to sign off. I've been on here rambling too long tonight, but
no, you ain't rambling, brother. You're being perfect. You're calling out the men. You know, we out there every week getting bit up by mosquitoes, bottles. We got you. And you're right, man. People need to stand up and take control of their own community and quit worrying about moving other people's community.
Right. You know. I think one of the things that eventually people are gonna have to understand is that even though they grow up, go off to college, move out of the hood, I'm saying this is where we from, and I'm not saying that people shouldn't want more in life, but we should focus also on wanting more, but to give back more, especially to the communities that we grew up in. Oh, that's you talking live on that. I'm getting your feedback over here. All right, let me get ready to go ahead and sign off. But
I just want to shout out to all the brothers that came off on the joint that helped. Give them a shout out, man. You know.
No doubt.
All right, bro. That's all to you.
Okay. All right. Yeah, Humble Power made a good point. I want to thank all the fellas that have come home from the joint, that are trying to change their lives around, that come out and help us clean. I gotta say, thank you to all of the women that come out. You know, that's the thing. It's been more women who have come out to help us clean than anyone else. We have to, as men, we must step up and match the efforts of the women. You know, I'm saying it's just non-negotiable. You know, in order for our communities to be turned around, in order for our communities to be reclaimed, the men must stand up. Men must stand up and be recognized. You know, anything else, it just simply won't work. But like I said, I've been on here rambling a little bit too much tonight. You know what I'm saying? I had to work the kinks out a little bit to start it off. I want to thank my man Humble Power for calling in. Thanks to everybody that tuned in tonight. Also, thanks to everybody that watches the show during the course of the week on Ustream. I want to thank everybody who has been very supportive of the things that we are trying to do in our communities. You know, I'm thanking everybody for that, and I'm also welcoming in everyone who wants to come out and join our efforts. All right. Talk to everybody again next week. Everybody stay safe. Peace.